Well, hello, good people. David Taub here, coming to you from nextlevelguitar.com. And we've been receiving a lot of email questions about acoustic guitars and what to look for when to buy one, or what to look for when I'm buying one, and what are some of the key points about them. So I thought I would spend a few minutes talking about them and maybe give you a few pointers on what to look for when you're talking about acoustic instruments, okay? Here I have a Martin acoustic. This is a D16 GT, a really nice acoustic guitar that has a solid Sitka spruce top and mahogany back and sides. Solid, okay? Now, why is this important? Okay, when talking about acoustic instruments, okay, it's all about the woods and how they're constructed, okay? The top of the instrument is where most of the sound is coming from. Okay, and the top has to be thin but yet strong because it's going to vibrate, and that's what helps produce that sound. And the sound bounces in through the sound hole and goes in through the body, and some of the sound is also coming from the back, not as much as the top, and then the sides also. But most of your sound is coming from the top, then the back, then the sides. So your solid top instrument, solid top meaning one piece of wood, not like a piece of wood, another piece laminated to it, or multiple pieces, but solid wood tops are going to give you generally the best tone, okay? And this one has a solid Sitka spruce top. And they use strong woods for the tops because they have to be thin but yet strong. That's why a lot of times they'll use spruce or cedar, because it's a strong wood where it could be thin. Look at the thinness of the top. It's very thin but yet strong and needs to flex or vibrate. And this one has mahogany back and sides. Now the back is, again, one piece, solid mahogany, and the sides are solid mahogany. So this sound of this guitar, knowing all that, generally before I pick it up, plus it's a Martin, and the Martins are really known for their nice, thick, rich sounds. I really like the Martin acoustics. I really like Taylor's. Also check out a Canadian instrument I found to be really cool, made in Canada. It's a Larrivee. I really like the way they sound too, and so you might want to check those out. But remember, when you're purchasing instruments, I think there's 4 things to keep in mind, in my opinion. It's all about 4 things. One is the tone. What is the instrument? How does it sound? Okay, if it's an electric guitar, plug it in, go through all the pickup combinations. How does it sound? What's the tone of this acoustic? Okay, how does it sound? 1, okay? 2, how does it play? Playability. How does it feel in your hands? How does it play? Now, if it sometimes I'm talking about if it's set up generally well, okay? How does it feel in your hands? How does the neck feel? Is it too thick? Is the neck too thin? Does it just wrap around your hand just right? How does it feel? If it's a big body, can you get your arm around it? Is it uncomfortable? Okay? Playability. How does it play? So important. How does it sound to your ears? How does it play in your hands? 3 is craftsmanship. How well is it made? Okay? Is it solid top? Is it laminate top and sides? Okay? What kind of quality they use to glue the joints together? Remember, with stringed instruments, there's a tremendous amount of tension on these strings that are pulling on the neck, constantly wanting the neck to flex. That's why most guitars have a truss rod in it, or a metal rod that you can adjust that helps that neck fight that tension. Now, if you have a guitar made of cheap woods, I've seen them snap right at the stress joints, like at the neck, and crack, or pull off at the bridge where the bridges join, because the woods aren't made as well, or it's not generally made as well. And the 4th thing is, how well does it stay in tune? You know, a pet peeve of mine is I just can't stand instruments that don't stay in tune. It's such a hassle, especially when you're first learning. If you're constantly fighting your guitar to keep it in tune, big problem. Now, I'm not talking about as soon as you put a fresh set of strings on them and it takes a while to stretch the strings and keep them. I'm talking about the strings are all stretched. Your guitar has to stay in tune, bottom line. You know? So remember those 4 things. Quality of craftsmanship, tone, how does it sound, playability, and how well does it stay in tune. Generally with guitars, you get what you pay for. I'm not necessarily saying that a $5,000 guitar is always going to sound better than a $3,000 guitar. Sometimes it's close, and is that difference really worth $2,000, you know? Or a $600 guitar versus a $200 guitar. Generally with instruments and most things, you kind of get what you pay for, you know? But look at and ask these questions. Is it a solid top guitar? Generally, you're not going to touch a solid top guitar for under $600. Does it have a solid back and sides? You know, the top is really, really important. There's another company that makes solid top guitars a little cheaper called Seagull. They make some pretty nice instruments where a solid top guitar is a little cheaper, or Breedlove. That's another company that makes some pretty cool solid top instruments that are a little cheaper. Breedlove's a little newer and they're trying to break into the market. The other thing Breedlove does is they have this kind of neat bracing system where they brace the front and the back of the guitar with this special brace. They say it adds to the tone. I put a Breedlove up against this Martin, and this Martin came out, to my ears, again, what sounds best to your ears, a little bit ahead of it. Okay, so generally I seem to be drawn more toward the sounds, and this is just me, of the Martins and the Taylors. They just sound a little bit more lush and full. This Taylor especially is a really nice sounding Taylor guitar. And I'll just play some nice big open chords. Very thick, full, lush sound, okay? So some things you want to look for with your acoustic guitar is how well is it constructed, what types of woods are used. You know, there's all different kinds, and generally the more exotic the woods, the more expensive it is, okay? Just to show you something else is, you might have seen me play this guitar a lot in the videos, and this is a Yamaha APX5A. Now this is an acoustic electric guitar. It has a pickup built into it, and if you notice just at first look, you see a few different things. It has this cutout here to get at the high strings, and it's the body is not as big and it's thinner. Okay, I got this guitar. I use this a lot because I can plug it in and use it for a lot of videos where I need it, so I can control the sound through an amplifier. If I play it without it plugged in, it sounds pretty good. It doesn't sound as thick, full, as lush as this Martin, but for the money, this was probably half the price. So this does not have a solid top. This is a laminate top. It's a piece of wood with another piece laminated on, and it's not a solid back. This has laminates on it. But the main reason I got this is because it sounds really good plugged in, and that's what I was looking for. Now I have it plugged in, and I'm just turning up the volume. And you can see it just has a really nice, crisp sound plugged in. So I got this more for the kind of electroacoustic-y type thing than the solid acoustic, okay? But again, if you're gonna play with, if you don't need to have the electric aspect of your acoustic guitar, then certainly don't get one with a pickup. You're just wasting your money, right? So this again is made a little different. It's a little cheaper, but it's made fairly well. So a lot of guitar also comes down to budget. How much money do you have to spend? And don't play a $2,000 guitar if you have a $500 budget. That has impulse purchase written all over it and lots of high credit card payments.
You can play it, you just can't take it home.
Yeah, exactly. You can play it, but you just can't take it home. I just can't stress enough the importance of tone. How does it sound? Playability, craftsmanship, and ability to stay in tune. Okay, so that's just a little bit about acoustic instruments. Find out, how they're made, the tops, the backs, the sides. Also, like this instrument has a sealer on it, or a polyurethane finish. You can see that. You see that shininess? Now, that too affects the sound, at the tone, because remember, this wood is vibrating, and if the wood is sealed, like this one is, you might not get as much tone out of it. Generally, I prefer like the unfinished ones, the satin. They seem to have just a little bit more tone to them because the wood isn't sealed up. Again, that's a minute difference, but a difference nonetheless, okay?